The final hour of the announcement of the guaranteed admission list for graduate students at Peking University. I realized my name had been replaced by my childhood sweetheart with her own. My heart turned cold as I asked her why. With an apologetic smile, she said, "Oh, Damian reminded me. He said since we're going to get married anyway, it doesn't matter who gets it. Don't worry. Once I gain a foothold at Peking University, I'll bring you over too." Damian, the junior who always liked to follow Selena around. I fell silent for a long time. The dream we once fought for side by side had turned out to be nothing more than a stepping stone for a future. I didn't argue anymore. Quietly, I opened the transfer system and applied to another university far away. Selena, however, started to panic. Chapter 1. When I saw that the guaranteed admission list had Selena's name on it, my hands and feet turned ice cold. She and I had prepared for 2 years together, aiming for the top program at Peking University. Under the same advisor, the school only had one internal guaranteed admission quota, and we were the only 2 candidates. Her score was 0, 1 lower than mine, and her comprehensive evaluation was also slightly worse. That quota should have been mine. I called the college office to confirm while dialing Selena's number at the same time. The teacher in the office spoke with regret, saying the documents had already been submitted and couldn't be changed. Selena answered my call. Her voice carried a hint of laughter. "What's wrong, Oscar? Did you see the list? I wanted to give you a surprise." "Oh, I forgot to tell you," Damian reminded me. "He said we're family, so it doesn't matter who goes. A girl needs a better starting point to prove herself. Don't overthink it. Tomorrow is the real deadline. This quota belongs to both of us." Selena's explanation was simple, as if she were talking about something trivial. I stared at the name Selena on the screen, unable to say a single word, but still, I asked her, "So, do you think I'm supposed to be happy about this? Why are you being so emotional again?" Selena countered, "Is that necessary? If I succeed, it means we succeed. This is just a matter of procedure." I gripped my phone tightly and then loosened my hold, my voice dry. "If I don't agree, what you did is theft. It's academic misconduct. I could even report you." Selena's tone suddenly grew heavier, carrying reproach. "Oscar, I realize you're a very selfish person. It's just one quota, and you'd report me for it. When will you ever put away that ridiculous pride of yours?" Her voice grew colder and colder. "I already explained. Damian sees me as his sister, and he's doing this for us. For us. He helped you make a decision. So what? If you want to report, then report him too." Chapter 2. On the other end of the phone, there was nothing but a busy tone. Selena had hung up. I sat on the chair in the dormitory, my mind completely blank. Selena and I had known each other for 18 years. From kindergarten to university, we had hardly ever been apart. My memories were filled with her. When we were 8, she split her only piece of bread with me, saying that girls should give way to boys. At 18, she stood downstairs at my home waving her college admission letter and shouted, "Oscar, we're at the same school again." For 18 years, I had grown used to everything about her. Everyone said we would get married right after graduation. So, in my plans for the future, there was only her. But now, one person was headed to Peking University, and the other stayed behind. Between us lay an unbridgeable quota, and a Damian. I could report her, voiding the quota, making it so neither of us could go. But I felt too tired inside, without even the strength to open the reporting website. After staring blankly for half an hour, my roommate called me, saying someone was looking for me. I walked out of the dorm building and saw Damian standing under a tree in a white shirt. He jogged over, concern written on his face. "Oscar, I just talked to Selena on the phone. She's in a bad mood and asked me to explain things to you. Is now a good time?" Damian got straight to the point. His voice was soft, yet it carried an unmistakable trace of smugness. This whole year, he had been like this with me, caring, considerate, yet secretly showing off. And now, here he was again. I looked at him coldly, unable to understand why Selena would be fooled by someone like him. In fact, at first Selena found him annoying, thinking his intentions weren't pure, until one time, when Selena stayed up 3 nights in a row to finish a project report and collapsed in the library. I was just about to go buy medicine when Damian appeared with a bowl of porridge he had cooked himself, feeding it to her spoon by spoon. After that, the way Selena looked at him changed. Although she later rejected Damian's confession, she no longer resisted his presence. In the end, Damian decided to call Selena his sister. The whole college knew Selena had gained a considerate little brother, and I had gained a nickname, Prince Consort. Many people joked about it. Even Selena laughed, but she would rub my hair and reassure me, "Don't listen to their nonsense. You will always be my one and only." Chapter 3. Am I still the only one now? I pulled at the corner of my lips, looking at Damian. He looked at me timidly and asked again, "Oscar, Selena asked me to tell you that she did this for both of your future. If you're still upset, I'll ask her to come and apologize." Before I could answer, Selena walked over from not far away. Her brows were tightly furrowed, her tone displeased. Damian, I asked you to explain, not to stand here taking scolding. I was just afraid Oscar would misunderstand you, so I wanted to say a few words. Damian was flustered, his eyes suddenly welling up red. Selena's expression softened as she reached out and touched his hair. Silly boy, what's there to explain to him? The decision I made, I'll take responsibility for it. But Damian lowered his head, his shoulders trembling slightly, putting on a pitiful display. Selena then glanced at me with a trace of dissatisfaction. Look how much Damian cares about us. And you don't even have this much vision. Pathetic. She always believed that taking away my quota was for the sake of our shared future. If I got angry, it meant I was narrow-minded. It meant I was selfish. Why was it my fault? I pointed at Damian. He cares about us. In our entire senior year, how much trouble has he caused? Pretending to deliver you notes, sneaking into our apartment, drinking from my cup, wearing my slippers, always playing innocent, shamelessly clinging to you and calling you his sister, as if he's acting in some cheesy drama. On the surface, he calls me brother. Behind my back, he tells others I don't deserve you. Just seeing him makes me sick. With every sentence I spoke, Damian's face grew paler. In the end, he lowered his head, his whole body trembling, tears streaming down his face. Selena glared at me, her face dark. Have you said enough? Since when did you become so harsh? Or is it that you really want mutual destruction? My heart skipped a beat. So even Selena could use those words to threaten me. What she meant was, if you dare report me, then we'll both go down together. I lifted my head and stared at Selena for a long time. It was as if I were looking back at the 18 years we had shared. Selena met my gaze for a moment, her eyes flickering, and her expression softened slightly. I knew her. We knew each other too well. One glance and we could tell what the other was thinking. Those 18 years, I had been with her through every day and night. When she was sick, I stayed awake all night by her bedside to make her favorite sweet and sour ribs. I burned blisters across my hand. Every weekend, she leaned on my shoulder as we planned our future together. We had never been apart, never willing to reproach each other. But this time, Selena was different. Even though she softened a little, she still chose to defend Damian. Damian meant well. If you apologize to him, we'll put this behind us. In an instant, those 18 years of the past felt like they had been crushed into fragments. I no longer looked at her. Instead, I smiled faintly. No. The softness on Selena's face turned dark again. Oscar, you're testing my patience. Since when did Selena need patience with me? Oh, I had forgotten. She did have patience. Her patience used to be for comforting me, never letting me suffer the slightest grievance. Unfortunately, her patience was far too flexible. Now, it was reserved for Damian. Suddenly, it all felt meaningless. I turned around and walked away. Do as you please. Selena clenched her fists, then turned away with the crying Damian. Chapter 4. I returned to the dormitory and opened my computer again. I didn't report her. Instead, I opened the graduate admissions transfer system. Now was the golden time for transfers. Every minute later meant one less good school and one less good program. I had only one night. I had to make a choice. I gave up on all the universities in the East and turned my eyes to the far West. In the end, I filled out an application for Northwest University, a place 3,000 kilometers away from home. At the moment I submitted the application, I felt surprisingly calm. So, not being in the same city as Selena, turned out it wasn't such a big deal. After closing my computer, my best friend Ryan called me on video, his face full of anger. Oscar, guess what I just saw on the school forum? A post by Selena and Damian. They're celebrating their guaranteed admission success, thanking their families for support and understanding, with a picture of Damian leaning on Selena's shoulder. Ryan sent me the screenshot. I saw Selena. She and Damian were smiling happily on the screen. Underneath the post, many people were sending blessings. Selena is awesome. Peking University is waiting for you. Damian is so handsome. Selena is so beautiful. When will you two make it official? Prince Consort got dumped, didn't he? Ha ha ha. Then a sleazy comment popped up. Selena's amazing. Left arm Oscar, right arm Damian. Either she brings Oscar along, or she sleeps with Damian. Ha ha. The love triangle showdown is coming. The classmates were having a wild party online. Damian pouted and replied in the comments with a shy emoji. Selena didn't reply, but she called me. When I answered, Selena's voice was low. I've calmed down now. My attitude was bad earlier. Come over. Let's have dinner together. Apologize to Damian, and I'll delete the post. I didn't speak. Selena frowned. Say something. Is it that hard to apologize? It's not hard. It's impossible. Forever impossible. Just like I could never go to Peking University again. Fine. Keep being stubborn if you dare. Selena's temper flared. I'm going to celebrate with Damian. Do you know what we're going to do? I didn't answer. I just hung up. Ryan called me again on video. On the screen, he seemed to be inside a karaoke box. He said, "They're here celebrating with a whole group of people. Everyone's egging Selena on to kiss Damian." Selena smashed a wine glass, and the room instantly went silent. Damian, in tears, "Selena, stop, don't be mad." "Who said stop?" Selena suddenly raised her head, looking toward Ryan's direction. She had spotted him. Ryan tried to run. Selena sneered, "Keep filming. Let your good buddy see clearly who I've chosen." She yanked Damian over and kissed him hard. Damian wrapped his arms around her waist, blushing furiously. The classmates erupted in laughter. Whoa, explosive. My heart tightened again, as if a hand had gripped it, choking the oxygen out in an instant. But then, like the wind, the hand let go. I hung up the video and calmly walked downstairs. "Auntie, please pack me a bowl of spicy beef ramen to go." I didn't know if I would get used to the flavors of the West. Chapter 5. I knew adapting to a new environment would be easy. Taste was only one part of it. The bigger challenge was the psychological gap. So, the next day, I asked Ryan out, and we went to the best restaurant in the city for dinner. Ryan was surprised. "After everything Selena did yesterday, you're still in the mood to eat?" I smiled. Why wouldn't I be? People are made of iron. Food is made of steel. The dishes were delicious, and I was in a good mood. On the way home, I even hummed a tune. Ryan looked at me and asked again, "Did you really let her go?" "From what I see, Selena and Damian are completely together now." I didn't answer. As we passed the school lake, I told Ryan to head back first. I wandered around on my own. When I was little, I loved this place. Whenever my parents fought, this was my safe harbor. My dad was a gambler who lost all the family's money. My mom divorced him in tears. My dad turned his anger on me. When I was 8, he beat me and locked me outside the house. It was Selena who passed by, took me back to her home, and gave me half a piece of bread. That was the first time I realized someone could care about me. From then on, I became her little follower. We did our homework by the lake, discussed problems, shared snacks, drank from the same bottle of Coke. When we grew older, we'd come here on weekend nights to the Moon Pavilion and talk about the future. Selena liked to lean on my shoulder, blurting out, "Oscar, someday we'll go to the best school and become the most amazing people." I would nod firmly and say, "Definitely." I didn't know that back then, our dreams for the future already carried the shape of love. In our senior year, we rented an apartment together to make preparing for the graduate exams easier. My mom came to visit me, handing me a bank card filled with the savings of her entire life. She said, "Oscar, your mom doesn't have much ability, but this is all I can support you with. Graduate exams are tough, don't shortchange yourself." I cried and promised I would pass. I used the money in the card to pay the rent for the next year and bought the best study materials. I told Selena that we had to succeed, that we couldn't let my mom down. Selena comforted me, saying she would give her all. So, could I really let her go? Actually, I couldn't. It was Damian who helped me. He transferred in during junior year, trying every way to get close to Selena. After that, the one sitting at the Moon Pavilion on weekend nights to talk about the future was only me. Every weekend, I went there alone. Maybe not really to discuss the future. Since the future had already become clear, I just wanted an excuse to ask Selena out. She would say she was doing experiments, looking up information, in the library, and always, there was a gentle male voice by her side. A month before the guaranteed admission list was published, I went to the Moon Pavilion again. This time, I didn't ask Selena to come. I just sat there quietly, until a phone call came. It was my mom's attending doctor. He told me her condition had worsened, and she needed surgery immediately. The cost would be around 200,000 yuan. I froze on the spot. My dad had long disappeared. Where could I possibly find 200,000? My whole body trembled. My vision blurred. My mind filled only with money. The only thing I could do was call Selena. I called 11 times, and she never picked up. I thought she was busy, but then I saw Damian's post. He had uploaded a photo of himself with Selena. The background was a karaoke box. Selena was drunk, asleep on his shoulder. My sis drank too much again. She's such a headache. Shame on her. That post seemed to be visible only to me. I sat there in a daze, my blood turning cold. In the end, I could only ask Ryan to accompany me to borrow money from relatives. It wasn't until the next afternoon that Selena finally called me back. "What happened last night? I just saw your calls." I held back my tears, my voice hoarse. I asked her if she had slept well on Damian's shoulder. Selena paused, then explained helplessly, "Why are you mad again? I know you wanted me to be with you, but honestly, Damian was in a bad mood. I had to keep him company. We didn't do anything. We just sang some songs. His parents were there too. I just drank a bit too much. As soon as I woke up, I contacted you. Isn't that enough?" Singing was fine, Getting drunk was fine too, but when my mom was critically ill, when I needed her the most, she wasn't there, that was not fine. Yet when I opened my mouth, I couldn't say a single word to Selena. Keeping a moody Damian company was more important than answering my calls. Later, I finally gathered enough money, and my mom's surgery was a success. Meanwhile, Selena and Damian, that brother-sister pair, had become inseparable, and I had become what others called the prince consort. At night, the wind stirred at the moon pavilion. I pulled my thoughts back and calmly walked toward the dormitory. Unexpectedly, I received a message from Selena. Did you fill out the transfer system? Don't just pick randomly. Once I get into Peking University, I'll figure out a way to bring you there. It has nothing to do with you. I didn't want to tell her I had already decided to go to Northwest University. Selena snorted. I know you're definitely waiting for me. You followed me for 18 years. You can't live without me. Before I go to Peking University, you must apologize to Damian. Otherwise, you'll be on your own. I won't care about you anymore. We had promised long ago. We would report to Peking University together and start a new life. With Selena by my side, I had thought it would always be joyful. But now, I wasn't going to Peking University anymore. Without another word, I blocked Selena. Chapter 6. The day after, Selena Lynn's mother suddenly came to the dormitory to find me, carrying an invitation card. Oscar, tonight you and your roommate should come to Selena's graduation celebration dinner. I told her I wouldn't go. Aunt Lynn was surprised. Why? Did you have a fight with her? I said I didn't have time. I had plans with friends tonight. Then just bring your friends along. The more people, the merrier. Don't be so distant. Aunt Lynn smiled widely, and my roommate had already nodded in agreement. Reluctantly, I had no choice but to attend Selena's graduation dinner that evening. I was puzzled as to why Selena was only holding her graduation celebration at this time. When I arrived, I understood. It was because of Damian. Damian, dressed in a suit, was greeting guests at the entrance of the restaurant, smiling from ear to ear. When he saw me, he enthusiastically grabbed my hand. Oscar, you're here. Come on in. We've booked the whole place today. He smiled and explained, today's my birthday celebration. I was afraid it wouldn't be lively enough, so I asked Selena to move her graduation dinner to today. It turned out it was 2 celebrations in one. No wonder it was so lively. I nodded, acknowledging it. Damian beamed, his joy impossible to hide. After the banquet started, Ryan and I found a corner and sat down, not concerned with the others, but Selena found her way over. She looked helpless, with a hint of irritation in her voice. Oscar, go sit at the main table. What are you hiding here for? I said I wouldn't go, and that I'd be leaving soon. Selena took a deep breath, her brows furrowed. Oscar, stop acting out. I've let you block me for 2 weeks, and you're still not satisfied. I shook my head. Selena gritted her teeth. When have we ever not sat together at a banquet? Are you really going to throw a tantrum over something so trivial? Her voice caught the attention of others. Aunt Lynn quickly urged me. Oscar, let's go. She practically dragged me to Selena's table. Only then did Selena seem satisfied. There was an empty seat next to her. I saw Damian approaching. The Lynn family welcomed him warmly, as his father had business dealings with the Lynn family. Oscar is here too. It's just that Selena and I were discussing life after we get to Peking University. After all, we'll be together for several years. He smiled. Oscar, once Selena settles in at Peking University, we'll bring you over. The 3 of us will work hard together. I pursed my lips. I remembered how Selena had once promised that when we all got into Peking University, she would take me hiking. We'd watch the sunrise at the top of a mountain, then kiss. The kiss was her idea. She blushed and cautiously asked me, "Can we kiss?" I almost laughed, but my ears turned red too. It was silly. Really, after knowing each other for 18 years, why did we still blush and get nervous just saying the word kiss? But unfortunately, that was in the past. Now, I felt no heartbeat quickening. I only felt absurdity, because that night in the karaoke room, Selena kissed Damian. You two go ahead and plan things. I'm a bit busy. I calmly rejected them. Damian's eyes visibly brightened, and his smile stretched all the way to his ears. But Selena froze for a moment, then grabbed my hand under the table. I lifted my hand to grab some food. I'm so hungry. I won't be polite. After the banquet, I went to the restroom. Selena followed me in and grabbed my hand fiercely. Oscar, what's your problem? It's nothing. I shook off her hand. Selena, furious yet smiling, said, how long are you going to keep this up? The guaranteed admission quota. Once I get there, I'll figure out how to bring you too. What are you so anxious about? I asked Damian, and he said it's for your own good. He's worried you'll struggle studying outside alone. He said he'll take care of you, so we can all feel reassured. Really? He just wanted to cage me, make me live forever in his shadow. I replied, I'll thank him. Stop with the sarcasm. Tomorrow morning at 9, I'll pick you up, and we'll go shopping. This is what I promised you. She stormed off. Chapter 7. The next morning at 9. I glanced down from the dormitory window. Selena was downstairs with Damian, constantly looking up. I didn't move an inch. Selena shouted once, and I pulled the curtains shut. Oscar, don't regret this. Selena's anger flared. Since you're so stubborn, don't expect me to care about you ever again. She went shopping with Damian, and that very day, she posted no less than 15 updates. Every single one had Damian in it. Ryan, disgusted to the point of nausea, deliberately showed them to me. Buying him some things. Once he's at Peking University, he shouldn't be short of anything. This is hilarious. He can't make decisions, so I have to choose for him. The mall is so crowded, but wherever he goes, he's the center of attention. Handsome men really are rare. Beneath these posts were plenty of classmates' comments. She's taking Damian to Peking University instead of Oscar. Did they really break up? Prince Consort must be crying in the bathroom. Not gonna lie, Damian is really handsome. Selena, post more pics. Selena, take it easy tonight. Don't wear him out. I watched without any ripple in my heart. Ryan fumed. That shameless woman did this on purpose, just to disgust you. Disgust me? I didn't feel disgusted. I only felt it was ridiculous. September came. Just as the school year began, I had already bought my plane ticket, and in late August, early in the morning, I left. I wanted to arrive early at school, to avoid rushing. The journey went smoothly. Boarding, landing, I arrived in the dry, scorching western city. On the first night, I had a nosebleed from not being used to the climate. Everything else was fine. I even ate 2 bowls of beef noodles. They were quite good. At dawn, I had spent my very first night in the West. Then, my mom called me. Puzzled, I asked, Mom, what's wrong? Selena asked if you were riding with her family's car to Peking University. I told her you had already gone to school, but she didn't believe me. She insisted you were hiding at home. I frowned. Didn't Selena say she wouldn't care about me anymore? Before I could respond, I heard Selena's voice through the phone. Auntie, tell Oscar to come down. I've already given him plenty of time to cool off. Today's the start of school, so let's put arguments on hold until we're at Peking University. Selena's tone was unpleasant, full of impatience. My mom sounded confused. What cooling off? Selena, Oscar really left yesterday. He even took the moisturizer I prepared for him. Left yesterday. Selena sounded half doubtful, but still impatient. Forget it. I'll go upstairs and find him. My mom tried to dissuade her. Don't bother. Oscar already bought his plane ticket. He really left yesterday. Selena's footsteps faltered, and her voice suddenly turned panicked. Plane ticket? What plane ticket? You don't need to take a plane to Peking University. It wasn't Peking University. It was Northwest University. Didn't Oscar tell you? The other end of the phone fell silent instantly. Then came Selena's harsh, ragged breathing, as if she'd just been punched. I hung up without hesitation. Chapter 8. My university life had begun. After the initial discomfort, I started to enjoy the wind of the West, the sunlight of the West, and the food of the West. People always adapt to their environment eventually. For the past 18 years, I had always stayed by Selena's side, never once changing my surroundings. Now, I was alone, in a desolate city, taking step after step toward a brand new life. But Selena came. She stopped me on the campus road, her eyes ringed with darkness, red-rimmed with tears. Why? She clenched her teeth, struggling to keep her lips from trembling. I sighed and tried to walk past her. She used all her strength to grab my hand, her voice hoarse and broken. Just because Damian played a joke on you, you're going to treat me like this? Yes, I looked at her the way I had looked at her for 18 years, but this time, without a trace of emotion. Yes, I'm narrow-minded. I can't take a joke. I gave Selena an answer. Her jaw trembled. Oscar, you can't do this. You know I can't leave you. I only saw Damian as a younger brother. That kiss at the KTV was just for face, nothing more. Those crazy shopping trips and endless posts with him. I only did that so you would see them, so you would get jealous. Her voice grew raspier. You're so cruel. Without a word, you gave me a fatal blow. Why didn't you apply for a transfer to Peking University? Was that quota really so important? I looked at her quietly, then shook my head. No, that quota wasn't important at all. Selena froze, staring at me in shock. I asked her a question. A month before the admission list was published, when you were singing with Damian, do you know where I was? At the Moon Pavilion. You must have been there, waiting for me, right? Selena was smart. It was my fault. I shouldn't have stayed with Damian that night. I should have gone to find you. I stayed silent for a long time, then slowly pushed her hand away. Selena. That night, my mom was critically ill. Selena's whole body stiffened, her panic plain to see. She pulled me into a desperate embrace. How is Auntie? While I was waiting for you at the Moon Pavilion, the doctor told me my mom needed immediate surgery or she would die. I smiled as I said it, as though it were something trivial. I called you 11 times. You didn't answer. I couldn't borrow enough money. I almost thought my mom was going to die." At those words, Selena began trembling all over. Her pupils contracted violently, her fists clenching until her knuckles whitened. I turned my head to look at her, my eyes void of life. That night, I was truly terrified. "And you slept soundly on Damian's shoulder, missing 11 of my calls for help." Selena let out a guttural cry of pain. She suddenly slammed her fist against a nearby tree, her eyes bloodshot with rage. I sniffled lightly. "But it's okay now. I'm doing well, better than I ever have. Let's part ways here and thank Damian for me. I've accepted his joke. I like Northwest University very much." Chapter 9. I didn't know when Selena left. In any case, she no longer clung to me. A week later, my mom told me someone had transferred 200,000 yuan into her account. I immediately understood. It was from Selena. She was smart. She knew how to redeem herself without giving me the chance to directly refuse. I didn't return the money. It was what I deserved. After that, I began to truly enjoy my college life. During the National Day holiday, I went home. At the entrance, I saw Damian. He had come specifically to wait for me. When our eyes met, his usual smugness was gone. All that was left was resentment and unwillingness. "Oscar, you won. Selena refuses to speak to me anymore." His words were bitter. "I really don't understand. What on earth attracts Selena to you? Are you more handsome than me? More considerate than me? More understanding than me?" He stepped closer, glaring at me. "You're no better than me in anything. The only reason you won is because you knew her earlier." I grew annoyed. "What the hell are you rambling about?" Damian froze, then sneered. "You're so proud of yourself. But too bad, you went to Northwest University. I can take the exams for Peking University. So what if she loves you? A distance of 3,000 kilometers is enough to destroy everything, and I'm right here, close at hand. Who knows who will win in the end?" He was declaring war. I was irritated just hearing him. Turning away, I said, "She's yours. Go open a hotel room with her. The bill's on me." Damian was stunned again, and from the shadows around the corner, a thin figure emerged. Selena. Her hair was messy, her eyes lifeless, without a trace of the campus goddess she once was. I calmed myself, looking at her steadily. Damian panicked, fumbling to fix his hair while forcing a smile. "Selena, you're here too." I was just passing by. "Get out." Selena's voice was low, repressed. Tears welled up in Damian's eyes. Crying, he tried to embrace her. "Selena, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come to Oscar on my own, but I couldn't help it. Why am I not good enough for you? Why?" I said, "Get out." Chapter 10. Damian walked away, broken and lost. Selena stared at me, unable to speak for a long time. I simply turned back toward the house, and only then did she speak. "Oscar, I've decided to drop out and retake the graduate exams. I want to apply to Northwest University." I stayed silent. Selena forced a smile. "I know I made a huge mistake, so I plan to spend a year redeeming myself. Wait for me at Northwest University. I will come to find you." She spoke with sincerity, as if she were making a solemn vow, but I didn't need her vows. I remained silent. Selena grew anxious. "Oscar, give me a chance. I really can't live without you. 1 year from now, I'll come find you. Let's start over." "Okay." No, I had no expectations anymore. For the past 18 years, every day I had looked forward to seeing Selena, walking with her by the lake, waiting for her to lean on my shoulder and dream about the future, watching her awkwardly ask if she could kiss me. But now, I only hoped she would stop bothering me. So I let out a gentle sigh. "Selena, do you really think this is meaningful?" Selena nearly lost her balance, her words choking in her throat. Finally, she staggered and disappeared into the darkness of the night. I returned home, gave my mom her gift, and slept soundly for the first time in a long while. After the holiday, I went back to Northwest University, throwing myself wholeheartedly into my studies. I've always been stubborn. Once I set my mind on something, I don't change. 4 years, Selena had led the way, and I had followed out of habit. Now that I was alone, I felt a strong surge of determination. A PhD, I had to get it. In my 3rd year of graduate school, I successfully secured my spot for doctoral studies, stepping into an even higher field. During that time, I went home many times, but I rarely saw Selena. Ryan told me Selena gave up on dropping out. She stayed at Peking University, studying like her life depended on it, shutting out the outside world. She still had plenty of admirers. Of course, her beauty guaranteed that. As for Damian, he failed the graduate entrance exams and kept pestering Selena, becoming a laughingstock at school. After several inappropriate incidents, he was even publicly criticized by the university. That's the price of being blinded by obsession. As for me, I never fell in love again. I simply had no interest. In the quiet of night, I sometimes thought of that 8-year-old girl who once gave me half of her bread, but then I smiled, having long since let it go. Chapter 11. After earning my PhD, I went straight into one of the top chip research and development companies in the country. All the storms and hardships of these years had turned into nourishment for my growth. I had been reborn many times over. When I returned home, my mom didn't recognize me. Nervously rubbing her hands, she asked, "Sir, may I help you with something?" I couldn't help but laugh and cry at the same time. Sir? What kind of word was that? I'm not a leader. I'm your son, Oscar. I hugged my mom tightly, overwhelmed. Mom froze, staring at me for a long while before bursting into tears. Oscar, my Oscar. My eyes reddened too. I couldn't bear to let her go. During dinner, my mom specially made her best sweet and sour ribs and brought up old memories. These sweet and sour ribs were that Lynn girl's favorite too. Back then, you insisted on learning to make them for her and ended up with blisters all over your hands. It broke her heart. Was that so? My memory was a little hazy now. I had even almost forgotten what Selena Lynn looked like. Mom continued speaking to herself. Just yesterday I saw that girl. She was staring up at your window. Almost got hit by a car. I also heard from her mom that she started her own company. She's a real career woman now, well suited for you. Here it came, the marriage talk. I raised my hand to stop her, suddenly losing my appetite for the sweet and sour ribs. Parents are like that, always eager to push marriage. I found an excuse to wander around my now strange hometown. The roads were wider, the streetlights brighter, the old neighborhoods renovated. Only the school lake remained unchanged. I walked a circle around the lake and saw someone sitting on a bench not far away. She was slender, dressed in a black suit, with a can of beer beside her. She looked both sharp and exhausted. She was completely out of place in the park, like a corporate CEO sitting at a street food stall. Many people nearby were glancing at her, especially the men out for a walk, their eyes full of curiosity. I stopped, feeling a twinge of emotion. Selena. It's been a long time. I walked toward her. Just then, Selena received a phone call. She trembled with excitement as she answered. Mom, you really saw Oscar? He's back. Okay, I'm going to find him right now. She hung up, turned, and our eyes met. I smiled and nodded. Hello, Selena. She froze, her eyes widening, tears welling up without warning. But she didn't speak. She just fumbled with her hair and straightened her clothes nervously. After a long moment, she calmed a little, her eyes full of surprise and admiration as she looked me over. I gestured for her to sit down and talk. She sat with me on the bench. From here we could see young couples in the moon pavilion secretly kissing. I couldn't help but chuckle. Youth is a wonderful thing. Finally, Selena spoke. Oscar, I could hardly recognize you. I've been waiting for you for 10 years. All these years I kept thinking, what kind of woman would be worthy of you? So I never allowed myself to despair. I studied like crazy, earned my PhD, started my own company, just to give myself an identity, so I could wait for you to come back. And now, seeing you again, I realize, no matter how outstanding a woman is, she can never truly be worthy of you. She spoke at length, her words no longer carrying the exuberance or innocence of girlhood. I listened quietly, occasionally smiling. 10 years had flown by, and the emotions between us had long since faded into smoke, at least for me. Those once unforgettable pains were now less sharp than a pinch on the finger. That stolen quota, which had once kept me awake all night, was now something I could genuinely laugh at as a joke. Those 11 unanswered calls during my mother's illness at the moon pavilion stirred no waves in me anymore. That is the magic of time. After a long while, Selena finally finished speaking. Then, nervously, she asked me, Oscar, you came to see me on your own. Do you have something to say? The question caught me off guard. What did I have to say? Nothing. Really. I had just returned to the country, met an old friend, and came to say hello. That was all. So I smiled at her and said, just hello. Selena's face paled, though she forced a smile. I see. Then let me take the chance to apologize. When I was young, I acted thoughtlessly and hurt you. I'm sorry. I gave a small nod, indicating I accepted it. Silence fell between us. I stood up to leave, but Selena, gathering her courage, tried to stop me. Oscar, since you accepted my apology, can we start over? As if afraid I would refuse, she rushed on. I've waited for you for 10 years. In those 10 years, I often went to see you. I bought 165 tickets to Northwest University, and 80 tickets to the city where you worked. I've seen you shine in competitions in the West, and I've seen your smile on international academic forums. Truly, I have never left you. Her eyes were full of tenderness, her fingers trembling uncontrollably. She was terrified of my rejection. I was a little surprised. Selena, you're more devoted than I expected. But I had already forgotten most of our past. I had forgotten that you loved sweet and sour ribs, and forgotten the face that once moved me when you shared half a piece of bread with me. I had even forgotten what it felt like to be hurt so deeply by you. So, I gently shook my head. I'm sorry. I can never love you again. Selena instantly lost all her strength. Her once straight back curved, and she stared blankly at her toes, motionless for a long time. I waved my hand. Goodbye, Oscar. I paused, turned back, and smiled. Selena, let me leave you with one sentence. The worst outcome between two people isn't still loving, it's no longer hating. I stopped hating you long ago, so I wish you well. Selena froze, muttering under her breath, then collapsed into sobs. I no longer paid attention, striding toward the direction of the setting sun. I have always loved the sunsets by the school lake, because that glow in the sky is always breathtakingly beautiful. Today, it was more beautiful than ever.